You got to feel to be real. What do I mean by that? Well, having our feelings underpins our health and well-being. Having our feelings, feeling our feelings, allows our systems to find their pH balance and settle into a space where we can literally create the right conditions to be well. This is not how most of us are raised. This is not how we often live life. We are taught from a very young age not to cry, inadvertently or sometimes overtly to suppress our emotions. We are often not given healthy guidance around feeling our feelings. And people can get into one of two states. They either suppress and keep ploughing on. This is a popular trait, which eventually results in ill health, because at some point dis-ease in the system is going to occur. Think of it like shoving rubbish in the rubbish bin and you never take the rubbish out. Eventually it's just going to go everywhere. Having your feelings stuffed into your body is the same. The other thing that can occur with people is they throw their emotions. So they don't have their emotions and experience them. The emotion starts to emerge and they chuck it out there, which gets commonly called projection in, what's the word I'm looking for? Therapy circles and things like that. And in both cases, what's happening or what's not happening is the system is not going through the natural process of feeling and experiencing the emotions, being connected, and then moving through the natural cycle of release. And it is exactly what I uncovered in my system when I had cancer. So I had cancer, or I was diagnosed with cancer nearly 20 years ago. And it took me about 4 years to get what I call the base level of healing in place. And working with my emotions was a big part of that. It's like pieces of a jigsaw when you start to really properly deal with your health and well-being. There are all of these different components that make that up. And one of the things I'm trying to do with these videos is talk about them. So the emotional piece for me was really key. It was a massive part, and it still is today. So I always find that if I am struggling, overly stressed, if I start to release the emotions, feel them and release them, and crying is great, then I feel better. Crying, I always explain this to my clients as it's like wringing out a sponge. So crying for the body is releasing the toxicity. And if you release that toxicity, there is nothing in your system to create ill health. And this is what we need to start understanding more, is what are the components that make up that health and well-being, and how can we work with different aspects of them? Because it's possible that you won't be out of alignment in all of the areas, but you probably are in a few. And so it's a good idea to get to know yourself. So the first year I came back from the US with cancer, I remember crying every single day for that first year. I journaled, I ran, and I cried. That was my program. And what was happening was my system was detoxifying. It was releasing. Now, I didn't get involved mentally in the whys. That wasn't relevant, and it isn't relevant. But that's what happens. As soon as people start to feel uncomfortable on an emotional level, their brains start to kind of go, well, why are you upset? What's going on? There's nothing going on. There's no reason to be upset. But that upset can be coming from somewhere else. And always the emotions are part of our body communicating with us and saying, hello, things are not quite right here. Please pay attention. And as we know, if we don't pay attention, when we start to tune in, those messages get louder and louder and louder until you create something like I did with cancer. And then we're forced to pay attention or we lose our lives. And that is the simplistic, health is more complex than that. But that's simplistically how it's put together. is if you don't start to pay attention early enough in the proceedings, you will manifest a health issue down the line. Something is going to happen. Something is going to come of all of that, not listening, paying attention. And so one of the missions I have in life is to help people get more conscious of their own health and well-being, and empower women particularly to tune in at an earlier point in life before it becomes what I call fever pitch. So that's one of the things that I do with my spiritual coaching and healing sessions, is help people connect with themselves, help them feel. It's not uncommon for people to sit down in a session with me, and even before I've started speaking, or they've started speaking, the tears start to flow. And that's because they have stepped into a place of permission for them to be fully present in who they are in their bodies. And all of that grief is coming out that's been in the way of them doing that. So that's one of the things that we really, I aim to achieve in the sessions, is a safe space for you to feel. So if you're interested in working with me, or you want to know more about what I do, DM me the word healing, and sessions start at 199, and we can book you in for a session whenever. But I'm happy to give more information. So if you're curious but unsure, DM me the word healing and we can start having a conversation. So enjoy feeling your feelings, embrace that space, embrace your tears as well as your happiness, and enjoy your day, afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye.